it bordered on embarrassing. More shots at their own keeper than they had at Ederson. And only 3 touches, maybe four, across 90 minutes in Manchester City's box.
You see, I think that's damning. You're at Old Trafford, you're Manchester United against your City rivals, and you touch the ball 4 times in their box, and one of them was at that corner at the last minute. Up until then, it had been 3 times.
And City had 31 touches in the opposition box.
By the way, City could have had as many as they wanted. It might have been 2-0. But I think, and I don't know if you agree, but I think this is every bit as embarrassing as the 5-0 at Liverpool. The only difference is the scoreline. They were even more dominant than Liverpool, Manchester City. They played in second gear, second half. Yeah. Total control. When people talk about game management, that second half was exactly what it was about for them. Controlled everything.
Yeah, pure dominance.
Chelsea yet to play, of course. That lifts City into second in front of Liverpool, who also are yet to play. Manchester United stay on 17 from 11 played now. I think we could also say that if they had faint ambitions of the title, that is certainly not going to happen after that result today. Thoughts then on what we've just seen?
Pure dominance, I think. It was a masterclass of City just over 90 minutes. I think United didn't have one sniff in this game from the first minute on. I think, you mentioned it. I played there with City in the 6-1 win. I don't think it was, we were dominant in this afternoon, but the dominance this City squad showed this afternoon at Old Trafford was second to none. I can't remember playing myself at City.
Yeah, but in fairness, Nigel, just go back to that game.
Dominant game against United.
That United side caused you more trouble in that 6-1 than these
45
have today.
minutes. For 45 minutes they did.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, we only were 1-0 up against the United squad for 45 minutes, and then the second half, of course, we run riot. But this was just pure dominance over 90 minutes. I mean, United was just holding back all the time. The amount of pressure that City gave to United on United's defense and midfield was unreal and was great to see.
It was a perfect start for your team, Nigel, as well. If ever you wanted to unnerve United players even more than they were feeling, it was an early goal. And you can just see by situations that were happening how there was no one's really stepping forward and dealing with it. The second goal summed that up. Harry Maguire could have dealt with this and didn't.
If you just
Luke Shaw could have dealt with it and didn't.
Yeah, Shaw was not his best.
And the goalkeeper, who I don't blame because he stopped him scoring 4 or 5 this afternoon, might have done better with the last touch.
Was caught by surprise.
Yeah.
No, I think United's defense was shocking, absolute shocking, and you could just see that they have no belief and no trust in themselves as well as a back 5. So they play with a back 5 and then changed it in the second half as a back 4.
Yeah. The reaction at the end wasn't as bad as it was against Liverpool.
No.
But you say the defenders were shocking, Nigel. Down the years I've been told many times, you defend from the front. I thought there were gestures from Ronaldo and Fernandes, no more.
No.
I mean, Fernandes on the first goal as he goes out to try and close down Cancelo. He's jogging. He's not actually sprinting to get there and affect anything. He's ambling out there. If we see it again, we might be able to see it again.
Teams reflect their manager, right? And this team is reflecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is not quite good enough. And I don't know what they're being asked to do.
I mean, look at him here, Andy. Keep your eyes on him. No, that's okay, isn't it? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. But then watch when he's... I'll just sort of... eventually, when the ball comes left, I'll meander.
I know what you're saying.
Look, I'll just have a little jog out here.
But that's
the position. He's a front man.
But the thing about that, Richard, is you don't go close him. But I know what you mean. No, you want to see him sprint.
Show some energy.
I know, and it was a bit like that for the whole of Manchester United today. It was as if we put enough players back defensively, we'll be okay. It doesn't work like that against a really good side. And you can't build that into someone. He actually wants to sprint out there, or he doesn't. That's within himself. But I think that's endemic of what this team are about right now. You just don't know. They'll beat teams because they've got good individuals who might just do something like Ronaldo's done. But ask them to play against a top team like we've seen in 2 out of the last 3 games they've played in the league, and they're getting hammered. I mean, they're not getting beaten. They're not getting beaten.
They get dominated.
They're getting hammered.
And dominated.
I mean,
as well.
how can United, 3 years down the line after appointing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and affording him millions of pounds to spend on players, be this bad?
So
Are they any better than they were when he took charge?
I was about to say, ask the same question as well.
Well,
you know, because he came in as an interim coach. Remember when he just took over, and the momentum was different, especially for players. But looking back now, thinking about the interview that he gave after Liverpool's game, and saying like, "I can't quit now. We're too far in, and
Too close.
we're too close
To what?
To what?
To what exactly? I think he put the gear in reverse. You know, I
What
mean,
can
if you
he
look
say
at it-
today, having
I have no idea.
everything that he did after the Liverpool game, which included we'll learn lessons, we'll get better, we'll show better attitude, that this won't happen to us again. Well, it just has.
It just has. And listen, 2 weeks after they're back, they're away at Chelsea. They're away at Stamford Bridge.
Watford first, right?
Yeah, then Chelsea.
Chelsea,
yeah,
yeah.
Watford and Chelsea. So there's another big game that they've got coming up. I don't know what he can say at all with that. You asked if they're any better than when he's taken over. The damning thing for me is when I look at the players he took over and the group of players they've got now. I think the group of players they've got now is better. It's stronger depth. When you can look behind you and see good players sitting there and they can change the way they play, and they're a much better quality-wise group of players. So I said to you at the beginning of the season, you were with me on this, that if they that should be a group good enough for a title
I
challenge.
genuinely agreed with
If
you. Yeah.
they're good, if the manager, the man who's coaching them, picking the team, setting the tactics, and driving them, and motivating them. I don't know what kind of motivator he is. It's no Fergie, that's for sure. It's no Mourinho, that's for sure. Motivation, even with good players, is as important as it's ever. I don't know where that comes from. But if it doesn't come from him, then this group of players is going to do what it's doing now and fail to achieve what I think it can.
But that's why in a situation like this, a coach can only do so much. And we all know Solskjaer is not the right man, and his personality doesn't show you as well that he's the right man to shake that dressing room up. So if that's the case, then you need players to stand up. I mean, which player that I look at here on the sheet will stand up in that dressing room? It's like, listen, you, next time you play, I want to give you 200%. Otherwise, you will have a problem.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that now.
Oh, you can't do that anymore?
No,
You can.
Holistic
Trust
club,
me.
holistic
No.
growth.
Well,
No, in the
I think
dressing room,
the
yes.
point Andy makes
So-
is valid. You can't turn up players like that these
You
days.
can't dig people
any
out. the way
further.
you-
Absolutely
the
not.
phrase dig
Come on,
people
come
out.
on. You can. That's I don't agree with
Some
you.
can.
I don't
Listen,
agree
but
with you.
you're right, Nigel. Ronaldo could go into that dressing room today and dig people out. Yes, he could, because of his reputation and whatever. Not because of his performance today, but because of which he basically did, stood and watched all day. His team getting embarrassed. So he could, in theory, go in and do that. They don't encourage it, coaches. Some do, but
Yeah, but he let it go. We've been talking on our podcast as well with different coaches. They let the situation go sometimes, right?
How many of those players he rips into are going to respond positively
that's
rather
the-
than
that's
going